Hello, how is everyone today? So, today the plan is we go for the last route in Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore, which is Walt's route, aka the best boy. because, yeah, so yeah, we are going to do some of the chapters, probably around 3 chapters, and we'll start with trying to get a good ending. And yeah, that's basically it. We are really close to end this game, and then we need to change to another visual novel that we have to say goodbye to Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore. Cinderella Phenomenon in general, because it's actually the prequel now. Yeah, so without further ado, let's just switch and go. And we need to start again. Remember, good things come to those who wait until midnight. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a princess. She was known as the Ice Princess, named for her frigid heart and unwilling coldness toward others. The princess shunned all who sought to help her. She was scared to go out into the world, so she locked herself up in her palace. Then, one day, the Ice Princess became the victim of the infamous fairy tale curse and was forced to go from riches to rags. As the princess struggled to come to terms with her new life, she met a very special man. The two endured much strife, helped each other overcome various ordeals. In the end, they emerged victorious. The special man told the princess ice cold heart and dried her dampened spirits. The two vowed to love each other for the rest of time. They lived happily ever after. But what happens after happily ever after? The Witch Queen. Oh yes, the king is... I... My heart sinks. I forgot that the king was dead. Protect our kingdom. I will always be with you. I'm trying my best, father. But in the last month alone, there have been 4 incidents caused by corrupted witches. 4? And the month isn't even over yet. I groan as I stiff-toed the documents in front of me. Just so many hours of looking at them, the words have begun to blur together. It has been 3 hours since I convened in here with Laura and Walt to discuss magic-related incidents around NGL. We have heard testimonies from various witches, so there can be no mistaking what we have been told. Witches corrupted by the Tenebrarum have been wreaking magical havoc in NGL. As a bearer of the Tenebrarum crystal, it is my duty to make sure they are punished for misusing their magic. And as a queen of NGL, it is my responsibility to take sure they are punished for their crimes. Well, my father will protect this kingdom, but some days I feel like I am not up to the task. The gloomy thought weighs down my shoulders. It makes me feel small and weak. But then I feel a familiar warmth while settling his hand over mine. He flashes me a reassuring smile. He does not speak, but I know what he will say if opened his mouth. Our burdens are mine to carry as well. I turn to him and whisper softly beneath my breath, "Thank you." Walt just nods as we turn back to the conversation. Even just a cursory interrogation shows what these wishes are. That these wishes are Ildir's followers. Mother, even after your death, we still feel the effects of your corruption. Right now, the best thing to do is tighten security and add more witches to the kingdom patrols. I will do as you command, Lord Waltz. Calmly, Waltz designates duties to the witches we currently have employed at the palace. For the last years, I have been trying to mend the relationships between witches and humans. I expect a number of human hate crimes to have dwindled. By now, this is not the case. Am I not doing enough? I eventually dismiss the wishes with a wave of my hand, but Laura and Waltz remain. I let out an exasperated sigh as I set my chin on the table. Tired? I'm fine. Diviana has been running herself dry. I bolt upright with a frown. Trouble in paradise? The nightmares are starting to get bad again. Did not have to tell her that, Waltz. The nightmares Waltz is referring to are a side effect of being the Tenebrarum bearer. When it is overfilled with negativity, those negative emotions plague in the form of nightmares. The only way to deal with those nightmares is to balance out a curriculum, and that requires finding and dealing with a major source of negativity. Waltz shakes his head. You know, I only ever tell on you because I'm worried. The last thing I need is to be lectured by an overbearing witch right now. I am not going to baby Diviana, but you know I'm always here when the goings get tough. Can't speak, can I? Okay, but I just saw pink. I sympathize with you, truly. Being both a bear and a queen is a colossal responsibility. It would take its toll on anyone. Still, you need to take better care of yourself, otherwise you're going to worry the rest of us to death. I have already said multiple times, you all are better off not worrying about me. Laura snorts, as if we could ever just ignore you. Orpha left you in my care, Diviana. It's my responsibility to watch over you, whether you like it or not. I'm fine, Laura. I just need to rest. Laura turns to Waltz. You out to pamper your soon-to-be wife more, Waltz. Soon-to-be wife? Ooh! Waltz laughs softly, sheepishly. I try, but you know how stubborn Diviana can be when she sets her mind on a goal. Then try harder. Waltz salutes. Yes, ma'am. The banter brings the briefest of smiles on my face. Speaking of, any news on the marriage? You've put off the wedding ceremony many times now. You know the reasons why? Dolores sighs. I know you're busy, but The least you can do is treat yourself to a wedding. She clicks her tongue. Or are you planning on making Walt wait forever? Walt smiles. I'm happy to wait forever if I need to. The ceremony has never mattered. He reaches out to squeeze my hand. The important thing is that we're together. My heart trembles at his soft smile. No, Laura is right. I should not keep putting this off. I want to call you my husband. Hi, Solid, how are you? She's dead, Solid. She's dead. No mother here, she's dead. She isn't alive. She's in probably in hell. This is the prequel. This is the sequel. She died on the prequel. But hi, how are you? Wells leans down to plant a kiss on my forehead. But hey, good news! We are engaged! With the good boy, with the pretty boy, with the best boy. How many years did I wait for you to find me again, Diana? I mean, no worry to get married. Hurry to get married. There are other people in this kingdom who need you you a lot more. No, I'm not. I'm going to be a good queen, just like my father wanted. Because he died trying to protect us from our mother, so that's the best thing we can do to honor him. You two really need to learn how to put yourselves first for a change. Laura stands from her chair with a stretch. Anyway, I'm heading out until next time, Divana. Walt? Laura raises her hand in a casual wave as she exits the throne room. The room is briefly silent after she leaves. Then Walt looks at me, eyebrows raised. Hey, you. Hey yourself. Walt brings my hand to his lips and lightly presses a kiss to my knuckles. Laura's right, you know. You really need to take better care of yourself. I do take care of myself. You do the bare minimum. You barely let me spoil you anymore. Suddenly I feel cold. You spoil me all the time. Not really as much as I'd like. Walt glances furtively toward the doors, then smiles. A mischievous smile that makes my heart flutter. Come here. I love him. No! Let my boy alone. Leave my boy alone. He pulls me out of my chair and into his lap, where he traps me in a warm embrace. He's not. He's our friend since childhood. I leaned forward, whispering in my ear. I really wish you'd rely on me more. I settled myself against his chest with a sigh. The sound of his heartbeat is calming. I've been relying on you too much already. I have been working hard to carry on my father's mission of peace, but it has been exceptionally difficult balancing my responsibilities as both the Tenebran Baron and Queen of Angel. Yeah, so you are actually right. He's a witch just like us. Huh? I do not know what I would do without Walt, who has been by my side this whole time, helping me resolve Tenebran-related issues. In addition, He has also been making time to better understand the kingdom's policies so that he can someday step into the role beside me. Waltz, the king of Angel. The thought of us ruling side by side warms my heart. Still, Waltz talk about me overworking myself, when he's definitely working just as hard. I have just begun to relax when I stop realizing suddenly that I have a meeting with the royal advisors. Today's meeting is about importing of minerals and coals from the kingdom of Stel. I sat off Walt's lap with a sigh. The advisors will be here soon. Already? He settled my hands on my hips. I settled my hands on my hips, okay. Don't you have your magic lessons now as well? On top of his other responsibilities, Walt also teaches young witches at the tavern once a week. That is our meeting. We are the ones on that meeting. He's teaching little witches how to use magic. He's a witch sensei. Solid, you are really trying to get red flags on the best boy. We are not destroying the environment. Oh my god. You're right. You see? I'm not the only one who is busy all the time. Great minds stress alike, I guess. Wow. Someone loses their psychotic love interest, and that's how they turn out to be. I see. He shakes his head. I feel like I barely get to have you to myself these days. I can't help it. The past few months I've been very busy. Walt rises to his feet. How long will this meeting run? I can wait up for you tonight. Maybe you can relax with some tea. Am I streaming at 720? I hesitate. The last time I told Walt to wait up for me, I worked until morning and he was sleepless. Since we now share the same bedroom, he often loses sleep because of me, but... Sorry, I had to do something. I miss spending time with him alone. Perhaps I can wrap things up early today. Okay, let me save. I feel like this is going... Like she said, he normally waits and ends up not sleeping the whole night. So... probably don't wait for me. Like... knowing Walt saying don't wait for me, it's going to lead to the good ending instead of the best ending, I feel like, so... let's give it a shot. I'm not sure how long this will take, and I do not want to you waiting up like that last time. Diana, you know I don't mind waiting for you. But I do. Walt for his eyebrows at me. Yee. Well, if you insist, just don't push yourself too hard, okay? I'll try. I plant a quick kiss on his lips. I'll see you later, Walt. See you later, little star. Yo, I love when he calls us little star. He's so cute. Walt flashes one last smile before leaving the throne room. Hours later, I find myself trailing the advisors as we walk through town to visit the stalls of traveling merchants. And here I thought we'd just be having a quick conversation in the throne room. Any type of coal? Yes, Her Majesty. Apparently, the neighboring kingdom of Saddle recently discovered a new type of magic-infused coal that gives off an impressive amount of energy. It's also safe for the environment. See? It's also safe for the environment. Truth be told, we have had less interactions with Saddle than we ever did with Brigantia. Their kingdom is more difficult to reach, so our merchants and nobility have not done much business with them. But it would be foolish to turn away from this opportunity to expand our trading with Saddle now. Yeah, we gave him a quick kiss on the lips. They call it Rosette's coal. I believe it would be beneficial to import it to Angel. The downside, naturally, is that the recently discovered coal is extremely expensive. Still, I think the benefits outweigh the cons. They say the coal can burn all night, while our own coal only lasts several hours. The rusted coal may be expensive, but it will cut down on consumption, maybe even half of it. So in the end, we'll be spending around the same amount for a more efficient energy source? Precisely. I think it would be of Her Majesty to see the impact of this coal with her own eyes. But of course, I've already ordered a few samples. May I ask permission to speak, Your Majesty? I'm surprised when one of my knights guarding the room raises his voice in question. Permission granted. I was in town yesterday and chanced upon a merchant from Cinderella showcasing samples of the coal. What a marvelous coincidence! A convenient coincidence. Then let us go take a look at this sample. Are you sure, Your Majesty, it's getting dark? Then we must have haste before they close their shop for the day. The advisors look bewildered. But, Your Majesty, it would be no problem at all to have the samples delivered. This sounds too sus. A delivery would be much simpler than an excursion into town, surely. I know they must be thinking there is no reason for us to go out of our way for this simple errand. No doubt they are used to servants retrieving things for them. It is fine. I would like the fresh air. The advisors look disgruntled, but neither of them complain. They are here to make an argument, after all. For them to dismiss my preference would hardly be in their favor. Besides, the last thing I need is for this discussion to carry on into tomorrow. It is about timeliness, of course, but even more than that, I really need some fresh air. It has been a long time since I stepped foot outside the palace. Hi Zev, how are you? Zev, please tell me that you are on my side and you aren't like Shaw that is just trying to find red flags on Walt, just because he liked the psychotic matter. We find the merchant selling the coal quickly enough. When he hears of our visit, he clears the stall early and leads us to his inn room instead, where he can better demonstrate the burning effects of the coal. It's okay. I'm just asking if you are on the side that Walt is the best boy, or if you are just like Solid, that is just trying to get red flags where they don't exist because he liked our psychotic mother and mother is dead. Because Solid saw our mother in the last game and was like, wife, is that you? And she's kinda no. And Solid was waiting for her and I'm like, yeah, she isn't here. She died. And that's our boy. And Solid was like, oh, he sounds sus. He isn't human. I'm like, yeah, he isn't. He's a witch actual kid. Don't worry, Solid didn't decide it either. Solid just picking in what he sees. Like Solid was like, oh, it's too perfect to be good. I am amazed by the lack of ashes at the end of the demonstration. In the end, I decided to take a chance on the coal, starting first with a small order. Perhaps it will help us save some gold in the future. As soon as you sign the document, please pass them on to me for processing, Your Majesty. I shall. Solid. That requires technology that doesn't exist here. And he's literally a witch. Like, our mother killed his parents to make sure that he would be her apprentice. The advisors are a little bit sus, I agree with that on that. Walt isn't yandere. Our mother was a yandere, Walt isn't. Walt is just a good little boy. She's dead. She's dead and she better say that. Toma from Amnesia is. I think Ritz can be a little bit yandere. Oh my god. The advisors bow and take their leave. I wonder how quickly I can sign all of this. Shall we go, Your Majesty? I allow the knights to lead me back to my carriage. Oh, maybe we're also thinking about Mitros. He died as well. He was really obsessed with our mother. He also died. Our mother killed him. She was like, yeah, I don't need you. I only needed my daughter and Bolts this whole time. They are the powerful ones. You are just a puppet. As soon as we returned to the palace, I head back to my room, papers in hand. I enter quietly. The room is still lit, but I am unsurprised to see Walt has already fallen asleep. He lies face down on the bed, feet dangling off the edge. It looks like if he collapsed in a fit of exhaustion. I do not regret telling him not to wait for me. Magic lessons are tiring. He really needed the rest. I smile as I walk over to the bed and carefully throw a blanket over Walt. I lean down to plant a soft kiss on his forehead. Sleep well, Walt. When I wake up the next morning, Walt has already left, probably for some important errand. I do not have any meetings for the day, so I decide to remain in my room and focus on paperwork. Sitting here at my desk, I cannot help but remember all those nights Father disappeared, leaving us all alone. He was always talking about being busy. Now I know why. I did not anticipate there would be so much to take care of. My frustration dims to a muddy grief. If father was still alive, he would be helping me do all of this. I wipe out my eyes, which are silently glassy with tears. Even though I lost father years ago, the weight of his death still makes me feel breathless sometimes. I still remember that day, the day my father apologized to me for being so distant, and the day I lost him forever. I miss him. A knock on my door jolts me from my thoughts. I quickly wipe the tears away. Who is it?
It's me. May I come in?
You may. The doors open, revealing Emmeline smiling brightly. She holds a tray with biscuits and teacups on it. What is this?
You've been locked up in your room all day, so I figured maybe you'd like a tea break?
Emmeline sets the tray down on my table. The sweet smell of fresh pastries makes my mouth water.
I even brought you a custard Danish. You like those, right?
Emmeline pours us some tea and hands me a cup. Thank you, Emmeline. This is very kind of you. I immediately reach for the custard Danish. As expected, it is delicious. How baked is this? It's heavenly.
Mother, she wanted to treat you to something nice.
I blink at her. Ophelia?
Mother's been wanting to bake something for you a while. She knows you've been busy and thought some baked goods might lift your spirits some. Please thank her for me, if I do not get the opportunity soon. Of course. While we're talking about your workload,
Emmeline props her elbow on the table and looks at me worriedly.
How have you been? It's been so long since you spent time with any of us.
I shrug. There are always many things to be done.
Maybe, but even the king took breaks. You're going to burn yourself out if you work non-stop.
Father entrusted this kingdom to me. Put myself before it, and my people would be selfish. To put myself before it and my people. Huh? Emmeline reaches for my hands.
You're not alone in this, Viviana. We are all here for you.
Perhaps, but this is my responsibility. I cannot just heave my burdens onto others. They are all already doing so much to help me.
You should take some time off. Maybe go on a date with Walt?
Emmeline laughs when I flush.
But it's been a while since you two went out, right? And it clearly has been missing you. It'd be good for you to go out to town.
Maybe. Emmeline sighs.
You have no meetings, right? Then you should take today off.
I lean back in my chair with a sigh. Fine, if you insist. We chat a little more over tea before parting ways. Emmeline into the kitchens and I to search for Waltz. I spent 30 minutes searching, but Waltz is nowhere to be found. None of the servants have seen him either. He must have gone to the town then. Good morning, Your Majesty. I whirl at the sound of the voice. It is Fritz approaching with his usual smile. Fritz! When I broke all the fairy tale curses, I relieved Fritz of his duties as my personal knight. I no longer needed one with Walt by my side. Many were wary of Fritz. Even after I broke his curse, they had reason for it, as Fritz worked with both Mother and Mistress while he was cursed. But he did those things as Varg, an alter ego he could not control. I know this, and I pardoned him for his crimes long ago. It's nice to see you out and about rather than locked away in some stuffy room. Fritz angles his head. You look like you're on the hunt for someone. May I ask who? I'm looking for Walt. Lord Walt? I overheard you was doing a show in town today. Ah, then today is a puppet show day. Thank you. Are you going out? Should I arrange an escort for you? There is no need. I like to think no one would be foolish enough to try and attack the Tenebran bearer. I'm still queen, of course, and more often than not, I will allow an escort for royal business, but it is nice that I do not have to worry about such things for casual outings. 3 shekels. True, still, keep you on your toes, your majesty. Of course. Sure enough, I find Walt in the plaza, crouched behind a makeshift booth and telling a story with his puppets. He does not even look in my direction when I arrive. He seems preoccupied. I think you would like if we stayed and watch. Let's go look around town. There is no point sitting here and doing nothing. I may as well walk around town. Hi, sensei, how are you? I'm not senpai. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you for the redeem. So I'll try to do my best. Let me just put the timer 5 minutes. Okay. So I will just be translating the text because yeah. Let's see. The last time it went somehow, so let's see. Ok, 5 minutos. Vamos lá. Como é que eu digo isto? Olho mais uma vez para o grupo a sorrir. A sorrir e a rir de crianças. O Walt sempre consegue pôr um sorriso na cara deles. Eu pergunto-me se há alguma coisa que eu posso fazer para melhorar o dia deles também. Eu estou preso em pensamento quando começo a minha caminhada. Eu sou cumprimentada pelas pessoas da cidade enquanto caminho pelo plaza, experimentando diferentes comidas. Já faz algum tempo, desde a última vez que cuidei de mim assim. Eu e o Walt costumávamos visitar estas montras com frequência e ele costumava comprar-me os meus snacks preferidos. I know. Sorry, it's just because she says something that it's not me. I don't like that. As maçãs caramelizadas sempre foram as minhas preferidas. Eu devo ter estado a pensar inconscientemente nelas, porque de repente, enquanto me enfrento a uma montra de maçãs caramelizadas que eu e o Walt visitámos pela primeira vez anos atrás. Sua Majestade. O comerciante da montra faz uma vénia. É um prazer voltar a vê-la. Posso dizer o mesmo. Tem sido já faz algum tempo. Eu olho para as maçãs da motra. Algumas estão cobertas em chocolate, outras com caramelo. Ainda há algumas que estão com... Ainda há umas que estão a serem pintadas. Polvilhadas com açúcar cristalizado. E há ainda algumas que têm flocos doces nelas. Obrigada pelas festas. Elas parecem todas deliciosas. Alguma do teu interesse? Alguma do vosso interesse? I forgot, I need to be formal. Eu posso cortar algumas amostras para ti? É para você. Como é que eu vou escolher? De repente ocorre-me que eu posso escolher 2 maçãs. Eu podia dar uma como sobremesa ao Walt, como ele faz para mim. Ou eu vou à minha carteira para procurar várias peças de prata, das quais eu meto na mesa. O comerciante olha para mim, os olhos bem abertos. Mas sabe, eu não posso aceitar isto. É uma compensação ampla por todas as tuas maçãs. Por todas elas? Eu gostava de... Okay, 5 minutes are done. I don't need to translate anymore. Sorry, I was just struggling a little bit because since we are the queen, like in English you don't notice, but in Portuguese there is a huge difference on the U. When it's formal and it isn't. So I was struggling this whole time forgetting. Let me just explain, please. I was struggling this whole time when it would say you. In my mind, it would automatically translate to for two. That is our informal version. But I forgot that we are the queen, so that means that they are being formal to us. So I need to use vós or vocês instead, which in English translates to you. So yeah, my brain was bugging there, but also because the way we construct our phrases is a little bit invert how it is in English. I was also having some time to read to be able to translate because most of the times what in English is in the end of the phrase, in Portuguese is in the beginning. So I was also taking some time to make it. I'd like to treat some people. Plus, some words are like, I know what it means, but I'm having some trouble finding the meaning in Portuguese. So I'm just like, wait, what was the translation again? Walt is wrapping up the story when I return to the plaza. And they all lived
happily ever after.
I approached the booth from behind. The children who noticed me had giggles behind their hands. Walt looks quizzically until I poke him in the shoulder. He jumps. The children laugh as he reaches to face me, eyes wide and as sorcerers. Viana? Hello, Mr. Magician. It's the Queen. The Queen is here.
She must have used her magic to sneak up on Walt.
I wish I still had the wild imagination of a child.
That's right.
You ought to pay more attention to your surroundings, Mr. Magician. Forgive me, my queen, I didn't realize you were leaving the palace today. Emmeline convinced me to take a break. I thought I'd walk around while you were doing your show. For the first time, Walt seems to notice the tier trays I'm carrying. His lips pull into a wide grin. What's that? A treat for some children. I hear have been really good. I turn to the children, who have crowded near me and are pointing excitedly at the candied apples in the trays. So, have you been good? All good? Have you all been good? Yes, the children yell excitedly in unison. Then I'm here to deliver a special treat. Carefully, I begin to set the stack trays down on Walt's booth. He hands out a candied apple, one for each child. Then take the last two for us. A traditional candy apple for Walt and the chocolate caramel covered apple for me. Okay, maybe I'll eat that one. Maybe I would eat that one. Well, this is a very pleasant surprise. I wanted to do something nice for the children. It was a wonderful idea. Loved it. Oh, come on! Okay, I will stay and watch the show. But also, I'll be right back. I need a little quick break. Okay. What? Hello? What? Huh? I don't know what happened. When did I stop talking? Was it before or after I went to the bathroom? Okay, so I put BRB, you know me, and then I came back, and I just keep going like nothing happened because I was like, I just went to the bathroom and came back now. Seems like somehow my mic just decided to mute itself. Like I had to press the mute button and the mute button again to work. I don't know. Okay, it's okay, don't worry. But at least thank you for making me know if it was after my break. Yeah, the mic didn't pause her. I know what happened. It's Solid. Solid is still sad that Mother is gone. He's trying to sabotage me because he doesn't believe that Walt is the perfect guy. I have my eye on you, Solid. I have my eye on you. He's on the shadows. He's on the shadows manipulating it. He's just like, no. I want the Mother. I don't want this guy. So... yeah, that happened. that happened. Oh. It has been a long time since I helped what I can't even speak now. Since I helped Walt with one of his shows, I missed it. We were having so much fun. Didn't want to interrupt. Next time you should. As a performer, I love working with spontaneity. Next time then. I hold out my hand and help Walt up. Shall we head back? The two of us have just begun our walk back to the palace when someone called my name. Diviana, Quintiviana. Oh, it's a niece! Wait.
Diviana! Quintiviana!
I need to do her voice properly. Walt and I turn in unison to see Anise rushing toward us, Chevalier on her heels. Anise, Chevalier.
It's so good to see you both.
Chevalier looks at me, Kremlin. It's been 84 years. 84 years. How many years have exactly passed? He laughs when I nudge him in the shoulder. You are as melodramatic as always. Perhaps, but it is no exaggeration to say it has been far too long since we last saw you. We've been very busy. Too busy, we barely have any time for each other even. Oh, you shouldn't have said that. But we try our best. Ah, such is life. How have you both been?
It's been business. It has been business. Oh?
Business. I can't English.
It has been business.
Oh my god, I can't say the words.
As usual at the clinic.
And this is an excellent assistant. The patients adore her. Thank you for that, pet. I can't English. be fair, I think I would prefer that my Portuguese came out on that, like the last time when I said bring. I don't know, and I mean, I don't know anymore. Yeah, English hard.
Everything I've learned from you, Chevalier. You're a great teacher.
Chevalier put its hand on out to his heart. Anis, my heart is sure to implode if you keep. If you keep what? I don't believe that I ever saw that word. Whipping such praises upon me? Ah, yes. Give me English, then give me words that I never seen before. Never heard. Or probably heard but never saw written. Yes, do that for me. I need help. Anis just laughs at that. She's probably more accustomed to Chevalier's dramatics than all of us by now. Oh, I pressed shift instead of enter.
It's just the truth.
Chevalier and Anis have been working together ever since Chevalier remembered he was a doctor 2 years ago. So it's been 2 years, so now we are 20, and Walt was 22, so now Walt is 24. Okay. Anis had always been interested in following in her late father's footsteps. I'm glad she has the opportunity to learn more about medicine under Chevalier. You know what else is undeniable truth? He smiles at me. That we owe a lot of our good business to you, Diviana. All I did was recommend your clinic to a few nobles.
It started that way, but now we see so many clients from all over the kingdom. We are truly grateful to you, Your Majesty.
You know, it's my pleasure. I Chevalier critically. You're accepting their coin, right? Yes? Anis told me before that Chevalier has a bad habit of refusing compensation for his work.
Don't worry, I make sure he takes the payments, all of it.
And the clients themselves are quite pushy. As they should be. You are providing a service, you should be paid for it. Sage wisdom from Walt the Big. To this day, I'm still completely confused by that nickname.
Chevalier,
Oh, yes? Chevalier smiles brightly. It's been a pleasure catching up, but we should get going. We were on our way to pick up some much-needed supplies. That is definitely more important than conversing with us. Conversing with the Queen of Angel? Never.
Hopefully, we can all speak again soon.
A Martian reunion would be great. Or a wedding. Walt has a forlorn look in his eyes when he suggested the Martian was a sanctuary for him much longer than it was for me. I know he misses it often. Sometime soon, it's a promise. We exchange farewells before parting ways. By the time we arrive at the palace, my body is racked with exhaustion. It seems all the days of sleepiness have finally caught up to me. I managed a quick bath before collapsing onto my bed. A soft mattress makes me sigh with relief. If only I could spend the next few days sleeping. Diviana? Walt, who is in the middle of dressing, comes to sit on the bed beside me. His shirt lays forgotten on a nearby chair. Are you alright? I am. You look exhausted. Would taking some of that potion help you sleep better? Laura has already given me many different kinds of sleeping potions, but they may help me fall asleep faster, but they make the nightmares more intense. The mattress creaks as Walt lays down beside me. He wraps his arms around me from behind before I can turn. Oh. minute he wraps his arms around me, I relax. He has just taken a bath and smells like mint soap. It is a soothing, refreshing scent. Is there anything I can do to help you relax? I just want to make sure that my mic didn't die again. Now I'm concerned. Okay, still there. Yes, it's a gnomes. And yummy. Wells tells a lot of stories, so telling stories is really easy for him. So let's ask him to sing me a song, because this is really easy for him. He does this a lot. Plus, in the previous game he told us a lot of stories, so this is probably the sing me a song is probably the wrong one. Thank you. Also, Naomi, look respectful. Me? Sing? I smile at him playfully. Aren't you a performer? Performer of a different variety. He mumbles something beneath his breath. Well, are you embarrassed? Not embarrassed so much as horrified. I can't sing to save my life. Me waiting for a reaction from Nobby Sing's reaction is. I laugh into his chest. I feel like I failed you. I kiss him gently on the shoulder. What? For not being talented at everything? I try my best, little sir. I do not need lullaby waltz. I don't need anything at all. Being here with you is good enough. I'm the luckiest woman in the world to have someone as good as you by my side. Strangely, Waltz falters, his eyes flash with uncertainty. I try my best. His voice is uncharacteristically quiet. It's such an abrupt change that I cannot help but be worried. Walt, is something on your mind? I just thinking about the past. He settles back on the pillows and closes his eyes. You remember when we were children? You were my guiding light back then. You still are. And you are mine, Walt. You still are. Again, there is that awkward silence, but then Walt smiles. I'm glad the feeling is mutual, Viviana. His eyes are still closed, and I know Walt well enough to know that means he's ready to sleep. 1 moment ago, he was asking me how he could help, and now he seems ready to shut out the world. I hope whatever is bothering him disappears in the morning. Good night, Walt. Walt grips me a little tighter. Good night, little sir. I love them two together, they are so cute. No matter what you do, you will never be good enough. Let me just save, because it's a new chapter. Who's there? I call out, but there is only darkness around me. Your efforts will be for nothing. Witches and humans can never live in peace. The taunts and jeering grows louder. So loud I can hear them even when I press my hands to my ears. But I'm trying. There is laughter, cold and mocking. You are a failure as a queen. Please. You are too weak to be the turnaround bearer. Viviana? I'm sorry. Viviana! My vision is blurry with tears. When I blink, my eyes open. Eventually, the smudges resolve into a familiar face. Wells, he leans over me, eyebrows forward with worry. Are you okay? I rub at my eyes with the back of my hand. It was a nightmare, and there were all these voices. They weren't real, Diviana. Walt wraps an arm around me and pulls me closer to him. But what if they are? What if those voices are the negative thoughts in the Tenebrarum? Viviana, what if they're right, Walt? Peaceful sobs escapes my lips as I press my face onto his chest. Walt rubs soothing circles into my back. They're not. You know they're not. All we have to do is look at the smiling faces around town. But there are still so much strife and... Walt kisses me softly on the head. You can't solve every problem, Diviana. Not immediately. No ruler is perfect. King Gennaro wasn't either. Father, I'd be proud of you. A calm silence follows. I breathe slowly in and out until I feel more relaxed and the dream has begun to dissipate. That is what it is, a nightmare. Terrible nightmare, but a dream all the same. How about a trick, little sir? A trick? Walt pulls away from me, hand curled. Abra cadabra. A lily sprouts to life begin between his fingers. The sight brings a smile to my face. He showed me this trick before, when I was a child. I poke him in the shoulder. You promised you showed me how to do it on my 18th birthday, but you never did. It's not as if I can't still touch you, no? Besides, I was teaching you more important things then. You taught me about shields every single day. Walt laughs. And now you make the best shields, and you have impeccable control over your electricity. Except for those moments where you accidentally shock me. I rub my fingers together, waiting until they spark with electricity before I shock Walt in the shoulder. He shrinks away with a laugh. You mean like that? Just like that. Anyway, he leans forward. You're going to take it easy today, understood? I just took a day off last week. And now you can take another. You're forgetting you have advisors and counselors you can fill in for you. You should put them to work. Walt, I won't take no for an answer. Do you have any plans for us? I have things I need to do, but I want you to take some time off today. That's not fair. It's more than fair. I'm just looking out for you. I know this answer quite well. Ay. Oh, Protest is the wrong one for sure. I cannot afford to take a break, Waltz. I have far too much to do. And you can't tell me to take time off when you will not do the same. Diviana, it's not like this is a competition. I promise, everything will be fine. You always say that everything will be fine. Not everyone can be as nonchalant as you, Waltz. The words came out more clipped than I anticipated. Waltz looks shocked. Diviana, I'm not dismissing your enormous workload. I'm just trying to make it more bearable for you to tackle. Is there anything I can do? I want to help. I sigh. No, Walt, you are already doing enough. Then how can I? Let me do my work at my own pace. I appreciate you trying to help me, truly, but taking a break will only stress me further, Walt. You know myself best. Of course. In true Walt's fashion, he seems to shake off all the negativity easily enough. So? I think a bath might help you relax. We have some time before breakfast. I know you'd rather get some work done, but I really think the bath will help you relax. I sighed. If you insist. I'm sorry if it sounded like I was belittling very foreseen anyway, Diviana. No, I spoke too sharply. I'm sorry, Waltz. It's negative energy from the Tenebra, I know. It could be that, or it could be my sleepiness. Either way, Waltz does not deserve those harsh words. He's only trying to help after all. I appreciate you trying to help, Waltz. Walt smiles feebly. Always. I say I'd always be by your side, remember? I could never forget. I slide out of bed and make my way toward the door. Walt called out to me. Vienna, would you like to visit the graves later? We can start by going to the royal catacombs and visit your father. Wait, why is our father on the catacombs? That sounds creepy as heck. I pause. I am all business. I have missed visiting the catacombs and the graveyard, missed visiting everyone. I would like that. Then I will see you later. I nod. Yes, I shall see you later. Later during breakfast, Emmeline talks excitedly about her upcoming visit to Brigantia. It has been over a year since Brigantia and Dagiel entered the full alliance. Claude and I were the representatives for our kingdoms. It was only suitable as Claude is the Brigantia heir. My thing is, in the previous route, every time someone died, they would go to the graveyard. So now seeing the king on the catacombs is just like, what? You know? Because everyone else went to the graveyard. Especially our mother, and like our mother was a queen, so, you know? Yeah, that's why now when it's especially because like catacombs for me is like a really, really dark place. Because it's more like dungeon, prison kind of thing for me. Besides that, so it's just like more. I don't really want to go there. Ever since then, our families have become closer. Emilian especially has become well acquainted with Claude's younger brother, Lance. She visits him in Brigantia every couple of months. Like, graveyard for me just like makes a lot of sense. It's just graveyard is just a place to put dead people.
Lance tells me he's already prepared a tour of all the kingdom's best restaurants. It's going to be wonderful.
Everything is wonderful, so long as you're with Lance. Let the two lovebirds in peace, Rod! I hide my smile behind my hand when Emmeline blushes. It is clear Emmeline really enjoys Lance's company, so much so that they exchange letters and visit each other often. It always makes me smile to see her besotted with someone.
Of course I do. Lance is Lance.
What in the world does that mean? You're blushing, dear.
Mother, please.
Ophelia chuckles. Sorry, you just become so animated when you speak about him. Rod nods, even more than usual. Emmeline puts her face into her hands and mumbles something. I shake my head. I like Lance. Walt laughs. He's very different from Claude, that's true. That's for sure. I resist the rush of my eyes, while Claude is flamboyant and overdramatic. Lance is subdued and humble. The two of them are like two different sides of the same coin. You can have a conversation with Prince Lance that isn't entirely about him. If Claude were here, he'd clutch his chest and whisper, "You wound me," and we'd laugh. Not at him, but with him. I really miss them. Everyone at the tavern. I always took that time for granted, but now I rarely see everyone together. At least I have everyone here. I look up to see Ophelia trying to mediate while Emmeline and Rod bicker. Before these conversations would have annoyed me. Now I am part of them. It is nice to feel like I belong. My whole life, that is all I ever wanted, to belong. The rest of our breakfast is pleasant, filled with animated chatter. When it is over, we all head our separate ways. I spend the morning reviewing important paperwork from the royal advisors. At first, it is not so difficult. I am used to sifting through all the jargon, after all. But I underestimate how complex the proposed policies are, and eventually the words begin to blur, and as the headache drops at my temples. Why must this be so needlessly complicated? I glance up when the clock sounds. Right, I told Walt I would meet him by the royal catacombs. I rise from my chair and begin to make my preparations to leave. I have just stepped into the corridor when I see a familiar face. Good morning, Your Majesty. Julian approaches and bows low before me. Good afternoon, Julian. Carl isn't with you? He's busy training the new recruits. Without you? The commander? Carl can handle himself just fine. Besides, the recruits are a lot less nervous when it's just him. Of that I have no doubt. I hear that Julian is the one who pushes them and Garland the one who forces them to take breaks. He and Julian balance each other out that way. After I was crowned the Queen of Angel, I appointed Julian the new commander of the Order of Caldera. She immediately chose Carlon as her second in command, which was not at all surprising. I was always able to tell that the two of them were close. Now I see that even more. I'm so happy that on Karma's route, Garland was planning on asking Julian in marriage. I was so happy for them. It warmed my heart. I cast a look over my shoulder before leaning forward and whispering. So, as Garland proposed it? Julian stares at me, horrified. Wait, how did you know about? She coughs. Your Majesty. Waltz told me. He said he and Garland were talking about it one night in town. So we are both engaged. I'm so happy. Sharon sighs. Damn it, Len. She raises an eyebrow. You're lucky he did propose. Otherwise, you'd have ruined the surprise. Well, Garland did bring this up months ago, so... Wait. I blink at her. So it's already happened and did you say yes? Well, of course. Were you expecting me to not do? Garland is my partner in everything. Her cheeks are flushed when she makes the proclamation, which makes it all the more endearing. Congratulations, Sharon. I'm so happy for both of you. Thank you kindly, Your Majesty. She smiles. I fully expect your wedding will happen before ours. Don't remind me. The question stumps me. I always forget about it. Indefinitely postponed marriage ceremony until someone brings it up. Sharon shakes her head. I'm just teasing. There's never any rush for such things. I appreciate you saying that. I pause, thoughtful. Before you head out, I have a question for you about Fritz. If this is about his impending promotion, then yes. I think he's proven himself more than worthy. Towards his away, I didn't know I was carrying on my shoulders. Fritz has been working so tirelessly to make amends for his mistakes he was forced to make in the past. I proposed the promotion to Julian months ago. When I saw all of his hard work, Fritz has no idea. We plan on surprising him with an announcement sometime in the near future. I'm so glad to hear it. Thank you for your hard work, Sharon. Of course, my queen. I must take my leave now. Walt is waiting for me. Give him my greetings, Your Majesty. Sharon bows and walks away. When I arrive at the royal catacombs, Waltz is waiting for me with the bouquet of lilies. Did work keep you longer? No, I ran into Jane. She said to offer you her greetings. I wish I'd called her before I left today. I miss talking with her and Garland. They're always so busy now. Aren't we all? Walt shakes his head, a sad smile on his face. Standing here with him, I suddenly remember something he once said to me. He told me once that as we grow older, we forget how to be happy. Do you still think that's the truth, Walt? Ah, you remember that. I also said once that adults aren't children, that they worry too much and don't appreciate the small joys in life. I'll be honest, when I see you overworking yourself, I do think about that sometimes. Walt, that's why you are the way you are, isn't it? You have a child's heart. You do find joy in the little things. Walt's expression shut so fast it alarms me. I apologize, I didn't mean to compare you to a child. I know that comparison used to really bother him. Walt's shoulders sag. No, it isn't that, Ifyana. It's more the innocent part. I'm not innocent at all, you know? The two of us could argue about this for days. Whatever my mother made Waltz do in the past, it was not his fault. He was a child that had no real power then. Plus, she killed his parents. I respectfully disagree. I grasp his free hand. I will never change my opinion on you, Waltz. Let us go visit Father. As you wish. The catacombs are a short walk from where we start standing. Father's body is interred here in interred. I don't know what things are. Here, in a navel-lated coffin that sits beneath the statue. Walt gives me some space to speak to him alone. Hello, Father. It's been a while. I set a couple of lilies down on his coffin. I still hear your voice. It encouraged me, even after all these years. Confess, I feel small sometimes. I feel ill-prepared to carry on your legacy, but I am trying my best. I will always try my best. I set a hand down on the coffin. A bit bitter and jarring cold sinks into my fingers. Miss it so much, Father. I hope, wherever you are, that you are watching over me. I smile at the coffin one last time before returning to Walt. He still has some flowers, offerings we meant to set on Mother's and Parfait's gravestones in the forest. Shall we? I settle my hand on the crook of Walt's arm. We shall. We made our way to the forest. The smell of flowers permeates the air as we draw closer to the small gravesite. It is not long before I see the field of flowers that mark the site. It is a serene place, filled with a plethora of vibrant flowers and littered with rays of sunlight. It is a perfect resting place. We make our way over to the two gravestones, aerated in the center of the field, previous Lucy's and tender brown berries resting side by side. Walt sets a lily down on the first grave. For Lady Parfait. I set the other lily down on the second gravestone, and one for Mother. They were enemies in the end, but I really hope the two of them are at peace wherever they are now. Walt sets a hand on my shoulder. If Lady Parfait was here, she would no doubt say she was proud of you. Parfait was always kinder to me than I deserved. That's not true, Diana. You deserve all that kindness and more. My eyes linger on Mother's grave. Walt seems to read my thoughts from my silence. I think your mother would have been proud of you too, but Mother thought I was a traitor in the end. Sometimes, in my nightmares, I can still hear her screaming, that same scream that echoed in the throne room when I betrayed her trust and shot her with electricity. Can speak? Electricity. Oh my god, finally! Electricity 2 years ago. What is happening to me? The elder you knew was corrupted by the Tena Brown, but Lady Parfait said she was a kind person before that corruption. I'm sure there was still some of that person left in your mother when she died. Wait a minute. Did it stop? Wait, was it having that static problem, or were you trying to help me with the electricity? Okay. Also, Nomi, seems like it wasn't my phone, because yesterday I had my phone on my bed that is like 10 meters away, probably 5 meters. I don't really know. Probably 5 meters isn't 10 is too much. Probably like 5. It was like 5 meters away, and it still happened. So it isn't the phone. It's the audio drivers. Yeah, it needed to be tested. So yeah. A chasm always opens up inside of me when I realize I never truly knew that version of my mother. The mother I know, was cold and Oh my god! My English! Manipulative. My second monitor is a TV, you know me. But like, why only after 2 years of streaming is giving me that problem? Yeah, today is not English day. Today English is hard and braining is not brain, and brain is not braining. I can't. See, I haven't failed saying brain is not braining. She erased my memories and used children to do her painting. It is like that a lot of times though. My eyes wander towards, especially because I notice lately a lot my Portuguese and my English are mixing. I notice that a lot. So sometimes I'm talking on stream or with one of you and my Portuguese comes out and I'm like quickly correcting. I'm sorry, Waltz. For what? For the way my mother must have treated you. I remember when the king told me Waltz found out belatedly that my mother killed his parents. She stole everything from him. That will be fun. That will be something. So like, some of us could actually talk to each other. Like, I and Zev just need to speak Tagalog. I can speak Portuguese, and Ari would understand. Ari also knows a little bit of Portuguese. Cronus can understand a bit of Portuguese, like I can understand a little bit of Spanish. I know Pujito. So if Nomi says Pujito, I know what it means. Then, yeah. To be fair, I think it would be a great way for us to start learning everyone's language at the same time. It'd be really confusing, but I think we will end up like getting some words. At least that's what happens to me with anime. The anime and dramas, because for example, I knew before you started saying Boruto, I was already like, wait, I know this. I've told you before, Diviana, none of that was your fault. Without you, I probably would have become corrupted by the darkness of the Tenebram too. You were my guiding light back then, and you still are, little star. Oh, it is again. He crosses his arms as he looks at the gravestones. There is a thoughtful, forlorn look in his eyes. You mind if we make a detour on our way back to the palace? A detour to the Martian? Walt shakes his head. No, it's here in the forest. He brushes past me and makes his way over to the rose bushes. He plucks 2 of them off the flowers, then turns to me. It won't take long, I promise. I nod, more curious than anything else. We are visiting his parents. We are meeting our parents-in-law. Which are dead, but yeah. Walt smiles. Thank you, Viviana. He snaps his fingers. Bright light encompasses the area, and moments later a portal appears before us. Waltz and I walk into it hand in hand. My vision briefly goes white. When it clears, I see I am in a different part of the forest. The place is quieter, even further away from the hustle and bustle of the town. I do not recognize it at all. This place is still the same. Where is this place? Waltz pulls me forward and into a clearing. It is empty, save for two big rocks lying grossly on the cleared ground. His grip tightens on my hand. Suddenly looks tense. Waltz. This is where my home used to be. I glance around the area and notice scorch marks on the trees. Your home? You mean... This is where I used to live with my parents. Walt's face is filled with melancholy. This is the first time I've come back to this place in years. This area of the forest is unnaturally quiet. It feels as if the trees themselves are mourning, like grief has drenched this place in a permanent, stifling melancholy. I have asked Waltz many times about his childhood. Always he tells me his memories of his past are easy. I never pushed him to recall anything on my behalf. I know what it is like to be weighed down by traumatic memories. But seeing the sadness on Walt's face now, I wonder how much he has been keeping from me, not because he doesn't remember, but because he does not want to remember. I'm sorry, Divina. I'm afraid I haven't been entirely honest with you. I said before I didn't remember a lot of my life before Hilder, but that was a lie. You do not need to apologize to me, Waltz. I know some memories are better left buried. That's how I felt too. That's still how I feel. He breathes out softly. I always told myself I would bring you here after we got married, so that I could introduce you to my parents.
I may need tissues if this keeps going.
Shakes his head. But you let me accompany you when you visit your family, so I wanted you to meet mine. Waltz walks me over to the rocks, his parents' graves, and I realize. My parents told me they built the house all the way out here because they wanted to avoid humans. It was the safest place to be during the war. My parents were pacifists. To avoid detection, they rarely used their magic, which meant they barely taught me how to use my magic as I was growing up. But everyone says you were a child prodigy. Well, it's not. I study on my own when they weren't watching. He shuffles on his feet, looking suddenly abashed. He feels guilty.
Oh, he feels guilty.
Okay. I'm going to need tissues for sure. I snuck out of town and participate in secret tournaments, Eva. There were tournaments happening during the war. What size? Most of them were armless, a means for which is to characterize their magic without humans finding out. But some of those tournaments were not armless. I can only imagine some witches used those tournaments to own their skills for some more nefarious purpose. But then I am certain there were knights who were training to do the same. I only went to the tournaments to practice, but I ended up drawing the attention of some very dangerous witches. My mother. Waltz nods. Hilda was never a part of the tournaments herself. She recruited her best witches there. I knew none of that. I was just a kid. Waltz crosses his arms. He shudders even though the air is stale and there is no breeze. My parents eventually found out about my excursions and forbade me from going out. I didn't know it at the time, but Hilda had approached them when I wasn't home. She said I had potential, that she wanted me as her apprentice. I look around the quiet clearing, are sinking. I feel oh my god, I feel I already know how this story ends, and it makes me feel hollow. I was stubborn. The day my parents died, Waltz is looking at the gravestones, expression deadpan. I'd snuck out to practice and to participate in another tournament when you spread off a house burning in the forest. Waltz kisses his eyes shut. His breathing itches. By the time I got back, everything was already burned down to ashes. Waltz Elder approached me that same day. She told me the fire had been started by witch-hating humans. When I had nowhere else to go, she offered me a place to stay, a home. She applauded my strength. She made me feel valued. Walt speaks haltingly, as it takes a great deal of effort to say the words aloud. I wrap an arm around his shoulders and let him lean into me. I know this pain. When I was a child, I felt the same pain. She introduced me to another one of her prodigies, Myth. The two of us, we blindly followed her every order, even when his voice trails, but I do not push. I lean my head against Walt's shoulder, he sags against me. I didn't know Hilda was the one who killed my parents until after she erased your memories. Did you find out? You were my light, Ivana. When I lost you, I felt like I had fallen into darkness. I was so desperate, I went to the king. I wanted to see if there was anything he could do to help you. Instead, he told me about my parents. The king may not have had any power over his kingdom then, but he still had his spies. He told one of the spies. He overheard that story. That was when I finally broke, when I tried to make things right. Either took everything from me, my parents, you, everything. So I turned my back on her, I betrayed her. Silence settles over the forest again. I rub soothing circles into Walt's back, as he often does with me. When he next speaks, his voice is soft, fragile. Hilda may have been the one to burn down the house, but I was the one who led her to them. If I just listened, if I hadn't participated in any of those tournaments, I'd probably still be alive. I knew it was guilty. Apologizing is the worst thing here. I have to apologize to him so many times. Always, he waves those apologies away. But in the wake of Mother's death, I am the only one who can try to make things right. I'm sorry, Waltz. Diana, please, you should never feel like you have to apologize for your mother. For years, the townspeople thought I was just like her. But you're not. Perhaps, but that link to her, I still feel it, Waltz. For years, I've apologized for my mother. I smile a little wearily. I have become accustomed to it. I have a responsibility to uphold my father's legacy, but also to right my mother's wrongs. Waltz frowns at me. No, you don't. You're your own person, Diana. Your legacy is your own. Somehow, this has become about me, even though I was trying to make him feel better. Please, no apologies, okay? Thank you for listening to me. I've carried this story with me for many years. It's good to finally be able to share it. Walt steps away and leads me to the two big rocks. We each place a rose on them. For father, mother. This is my fiancée, Queen Diviana Riel Brighton of Angel. She is also the bearer of our Crystalum Tenebrarum. Very soon, when we're both ready, we're going to be married. I smiled down at the gravestones. I do not know what Walt's parents looked like, or even what they were like in demeanor. But the way Walt speaks of them, it is with regret. He misses them, and I can tell he loved them. This is the last route, Zev. This is chapter 2. Each route has 6 chapters. And you have a good ending and the best ending. I'm on chapter 2 trying to get the good ending, so probably has more like 3 streams left because I've been doing like 3 chapters per stream, so like more 3 streams left more or less. And then we are done with Cinderella Phenomenon. Forever. So no more Walt. He's going to be missed. I have other visual novels planned for after because I plan to keep doing my visual novel Fridays. I don't know which one I put first. I need to check. But yeah. About my head. It is nice to meet you both. I speak to them as I speak to my own parents. I tell them about how much I love Walt and how much he has done for this kingdom. I am the luckiest woman in the world to have him by my side. And I'm the luckiest man in the world to be able to stand by your side. He gently squeezes his hand. It will be dark soon. Also, can we just take a moment to... For some reason, I like this profile drawing a lot too. I don't know. Let's just admire. Indeed, maybe we should get back. But then he goes back to front and he's like, oh, it's nice too. Well, so softly. Maybe I have been too much on Mocha's streams while she's simping. Oops. Actually, if you don't mind, I have something I want to show you. Something else? Walt laughs. I know, I'm just dragging you all over the place, but this will be worth it, I promise. You know, you said you were busier earlier, but this won't take too much time, I promise. Much to my chagrin, I find I cannot resist his adorable, endearing smile. Fine, if you insist. Walt and I walk through the forest until we reach a hill onto the outskirts. Here we have a clear view of the night sky and the scintillating stars strewn across its expanse. Walt, what are we doing here? Stargazing. When I just blink at him, Walt laughs and tugs me gentle down to the ground. I sit beside him, shivering slightly as a cold breeze rustles my clothing. It is a chilly night, but this breeze is actually refreshing. When was the last time you saw a shooting star? I don't remember. I do. It was a long time, not long after I met you. Oh. I just snuck out of your room back to my... Huh? He smiled softly. I had such a fun time. So much fun, in fact, that when I saw a shooting star outside my window, I wished that fun would never end. Oh, I have notifications. But oh, I wished in that moment that I could keep having fun with you forever. Your wish came true. Waltz laughs. It did. Your happiness has always been my primary concern, but it means the world that I could be the one who shared that happiness with you. There is no one else I'd rather share it with. I gasp when it's wow. Okay, the finite contest. Unit contest. So when we met, we were children, and Waltz would sneak into our room to play with us because we couldn't play with anyone. So Waltz sneak in our room because we became friends, and he'll play with us and show us magic tricks and everything. So then we'll go back because our mother prohibits to interact with anyone, especially Waltz. It's innocent. It's innocent. I swear. I swear. We were just children. I gasp when something bright strikes against the sky. One of the shooting stars we had just talked about. Oh my god, what is that? What happened to Leo? What happened to Leo there? Oh god, that's disturbing. Sorry, but it's true. I do not remember if I have ever seen a shooting star, but I know what comes next. Oh god. I clasp my hands together, close my eyes, and make a wish. I wish to be the queen my kingdom needs, and to be a bear worthy of the Tenebrarum. And I wish to make Waltz just as happy as he has made me. Waltz speaks in a whisper. Viviana, open your eyes. This is so pretty! It's so beautiful! I open my eyes to a sight so stunning it takes my breath away. The sky is filled with shooting stars. It's like magic. Lieutenant Bear, I'm sure you could perform this kind of magic if you wanted to. I do not ever think I could capture this kind of natural beauty. Walt looks at me, smiling gently. They're beautiful, but not as beautiful as you, little star. The words make my heart itch. Sometimes I think I do not deserve you, Walt. That has never been true. I am the unworthy one, Viviana. I disagree. You have always been more than worthy, Walt. Thank you, Walt, for everything. I'm so happy we were able to spend this much time together today. Me too. Walt looks quiet, thoughtful, as he gazes up at the night sky. Someday, when everything is more stable, I hope we can spend even more time together, and that we can share that time with others. Others? Walt's eyes are sparkling just as brightly as the stars when he looks at me again. May I ask you a question? Of course. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. Someday in the future, when you are ready, How many children do you want? The question makes my cheeks burn. Children? Let me be! Be fair, Zeph. The first time I played this game, I had just ended high school. No. I was on high school when I played Local Heart. That was the first game from this company. Then, between the end of high school and the beginning of university, I played Cinderella. I started playing Cinderella and Evermore. Even though they released it during my high school. And then when I was around like first year, second year of university, they released this game. And when they released this game, I was like, that's so happy. I'm not living the words of my dream, I'm just like really happy. This warms my heart, okay? This warms my heart. Okay, Walt seems to really want to have children and is really good with children. So saying no is definitely the wrong answer. Definitely. Like saying I have no preference, it's kind of good for him because at least you gave the hint that we want children. But he was just like, I want to share this view with others, like little kids, like our babies. So saying that we don't want children is just like the knife. Okay, why am I being called out here? Like, I've been reacting through this game for 3 years already. Why only now I'm being called out? Why? It's not fair. Uh, Thank you for that pledge. Children? No. No children? I know that is an irresponsible answer. There needs to be an heir to the throne after all, but I'm ignoring chat. What? Why am I to know if I will be a good mother? My own parents were rarely there for me, in the ways that mattered most. What if I am just like them? I can barely keep my own priorities straight even now. I'm scared. Walt presses his hand to my cheek and gently turns my face toward him. You could never be like your mother, Diviana. You know what it is like to yearn for a better life. I know you wouldn't make someone else live that life. See, this warms my heart. How can you not? And don't forget, I will be here with you every step of the way. Also, it's midnight. I should lower myself the volume. I should control myself more. Don't worry, Zeph. I feel called out in a lot of ways with this game.
I feel called out, especially on this route with how the main character is. I feel so called out. So called out, and also in so many situations. Sometimes even with other characters, because of other things and life. So don't worry, I get you.
Perhaps someday, then. Wait, I'm not typing. If I am to bring a child into the world, I want to make sure it is the safest world I can create. I want to be ready for that kind of responsibility. Is there a reason you asked me this question in the first place? Well, you were talking about the future earlier. That is a far future. What's laughs? Wherever and whenever this future is, I'm looking forward to it. I sigh, but I'm smiling. Me too, Walt. I lean my head against his shoulder. He interlaces his fingers through mine and kisses my head. For a while, the two of us sit there watching the stars. We do not think about the crushing weight of the present, but instead turn our gazes through our dream of a brighter future. Skeletons in the closet. What? What? Okay. It's late as always. Laura paces the room, arms crossed. He always talks about practicing his magic, but what he really needs to practice is getting places on time. Walt and I exchange a look. It's Sina, we are meeting Sina. The two of us are sitting on the seat, holding hands. Oh, we are holding hands. Oh. There is a tinge of exasperation in Walt's smile. Typical Sina. Today I have come to the Martian to discuss the tenuous relationship between humans and witches with Sina, the newly dubbed Lucy's bearer.
Let them flirt.
All of us were surprised when Sina suddenly showed up at the Martian, a little less than 2 years ago, proclaiming to be Parfait's relative and the next bearer of the Lucy's. It turns out Parfait had prepared him long before she passed, though she made it clear she never wanted him to take over at so young an age. Many fairies have voiced their concern that he is too young and inexperienced to be the bearer. I myself have not spoken too often with Sina, but based on our meetings, I believe him to be more than capable. Still, even if he is Lucy's bearer, he is still young and has much to learn about priorities. Where is he now? Probably lost in food, pastries. Laura snorts. He left this morning to go hunt for some special beetle. A beetle? Walt laughs. Another one? He was telling me the other day he caught some rare ornate beetle. I hope you didn't praise him so much you inspired him to add to this collection. Walt grins. It wasn't my praise that inspired him. Sina just dedicated to his hobby. Out of all hobbies to have, collections are especially fun when you're growing up. I've always enjoyed collecting dolls. Dolls makes for a much better collection than very alive insects. How dare you insult my insects? Sina walks in, lips downturned in his usual frown. You have awfully good hearing. Too bad your time management leaves so much to be desired. Sina's scowl intensifies. Is that how you've talked to the Lucy's bearer? Laura flashes a smile so intimidating even Cine falters. It is when the lucid bearer is a recalcitrating child. Cine walks quietly over to the one of the chairs Laura set up and sits. He clears his throat. Sorry. The word is low mumble, barely audible. Try not to keep the queen waiting so long next time. Fine! Besides me, Walt looks like he's trying very hard not to laugh. He told me once that Laura makes a good stand-in mother for Cinna. I cannot help but agree. I'm glad for their banter. With just the two of them living in the Martian now, this place has become extremely quiet. So Walt comes here weekly to teach his students. The tavern is usually empty, on account of it no longer being open to the public. It makes me sad sometimes. But then I think of how happy everyone is now, being able to live without being cursed. The Martian may be different, but I'm glad it's still here. It feels like a sanctuary even now. Cine sighs. Since you're so eager to start, we should get to it. Cine looks at Walt expectantly. You're the one compiling all the reports on the witches' crimes, right? Can you provide a summary? Of course. Walt provides a brief summary of the reports we've received over the last few months. So far, there have been a major incidents involving corrupted witches, but there have still been crimes cropping up here and there. We've just recently added witches to our patrols, and has that led to any impactful changes? We've been more prepared to handle magic with magic, but being more prepared hasn't done anything to make a dent in the number of incidents. Cine raised an eyebrow. Are there any human hate crimes against witches? The question takes me back. Yes, but humans are tried in courts just like any witch. These magic-induced crimes are higher up on our priority list because they result in more casualties. I frown. I would never give humans special treatment over witches. Besides, the victims of all these crimes aren't just humans. There are witches and fairies casualties too. Cine crosses his arms. And how is the Tenebrarum? Full. Cine crosses one leg over the other, his ankle resting on his knee. Have you spoken to any of the perpetrators of these crimes yourself?
Wow, it seems really different from
when we met him on Rods and Rumples. He's really more here is more mature in a way in terms of dealing with this stuff, because on the other ones it's just a little child, a little brat. We have witches and knights who handle interrogations sometimes. Waltz and I step in. Cine scolds. And what about you, Queen Diana? You're the Tenebran bearer. You have a responsibility to reach out to those witches. Cinnamon. Don't call me that. Cine's words cut me right to my core. It is not that I have ignored those witches, just that there is a procedure for dealing with them. It is the same for any criminal. As a queen, I do not come into direct contact with any criminals unless I don't come in contact with any criminals unless they are being tried in court. It is not my job to interrogate them after all, but I believe Cine has a point. The palace procedures make it impossible for me to fully conduct my responsibilities as a Cinderella baron, don't I? Sin and Laura both stopped talking to look at me. As a queen, I'm meant to be unbased, but the procedures that keep me from taking sides are what keep me from speaking with the witches directly. It's true, Hilda communicated more directly with the witches, but that closeness emboldened corrupted witches and intimidated those of us who didn't agree with her. Shinas shakes his head. That's a reflection on the bearer, not on the procedure. If you're a good bearer, Diviana, you'll speak to those witches directly to try to get to the root on the problem, if there is one. Where do you find the gall to speak like that, Cinnamon? Stop calling me that. Walt speaks up abruptly. Diviana shouldn't have to communicate with them directly. The Rod of Caldera exists to deal with those criminals. This feels wrong. Even if I wanted to, I could not speak to everyone. What is right? It is not my responsibility to speak directly with the criminals until they are put on trial. And I'm more than happy to interrogate the witches with Laura and deliver the report myself. Sina scoffs. You'll never solve the problem like that. You're the one who meant to lead the witches, your majesty. Diviana isn't just a Tenebrarum bearer, she's a queen of Anchial. She has a lot more to balance than just her obligations to the witches. It takes a group effort, Senna. A group effort. It's true, Mother would on her own. Everything she wanted, she took. I would never make such momentous decisions without conferring with those I trust. But it is undeniable that some witches see me as a usurper. Even if the Tenebrarum did accept me all those years ago, I have to prove to them that I do hear them somehow. Diviana, why do you have that look on your face? It's because she knows I'm right. It may take a group effort, but the group still needs a leader. You're welcome. Cinnamon, your matters are truly atrocious. You called me here to have a serious discussion, so I came for a serious discussion. Fate may have danced around issues, but I will not. No, I suppose you have a very different way of doing things. Laura grumbles beneath her breath. What was that? I said, you're still very much a child. Before Sina can say anything, I interject. A wise child all the same. Thank you, Sina. I appreciate your suggestion. It makes sense that Laura and Walt would try to keep me from overworking myself. They know how much stress I am under. After all, Sina has no such reservations. He is so blunt, he would say anything on his mind, even if he did know my full situation. That is what makes him a good confidant, I suppose. Sina leans back on his chair. I'm happy I could help. Now, can I get back to my hunt? The words make me smile despite myself. He may have wisdom beyond his years, but in the end, he is still a child. Do not let us keep you here any longer. Laura raised an eyebrow. It would serve you right if you got stung by something. I'm going beetle hunting, not bee hunting. Besides, I'll never catch bees. They're important for pollination, you know? The two of them continue bickering. It is a sound, strangely, that puts my heart at ease. I turn to Walt, who looks troubled. Waltz, you really do not have to worry about me. Waltz? He startles. Sorry, I was just thinking. I'm not worried about you. You'll handle the wishes, Diana. Then why are you so concerned? It's nothing. It most certainly is not. I cannot put my finger on why of it. Something has seemed to miss with Waltz recently. Waltz's eyes dart to Sin and Laura. Let's talk later, okay? If you insist. Our conversation wrapped up. The two of us excused ourselves from the tavern. Waltz's moodiness is concerning, so I decide to take a detour back to the palace. I lead Waltz through the forest on the way back. I see we're taking the more scenic way back today. I would rather avoid the crowds right now. You seem tense in there. Will you talk to me now? I think Sina brought up a good point today, but let's not forget he doesn't know what your workload is like. I sigh. Please, Waltz, let me make my own decisions. If interrogating these criminals is so time-consuming a task for me, or yields no result, then I will leave it to you and the other witches. But for now, let us work for the witches together, Waltz. When I said I wanted to spend more time with you, this isn't what I had in mind. Besides, I'm still not convinced that it's the best suggestion, but I'll go along with whatever you think is best. I feel he's overreacting to all of this, but why? I notice something is amiss for the moment we step into town. Normally the plaza is filled with chatter and music at this time of the day. Now it is eerily quiet. What's happening? I don't like the looks of this. Waltz and I ventured cautiously into the square. There are a few people here and they're scuttling about, but someone calls my name before I can speak with any of them. Queen Diana! I turn to see Fritz rushing toward us, a woman on his heels. I recognize her as well. She's one of the witches who sends us reports. Fritz, what's happened? There's been an incident in the marketplace. Oh no. A witch set fire to more than a dozen stalls. The witch points. I follow her gaze to the smoky tendrils curling through the hair a short distance away. The fire has just been put out, and the merchants and customers who inhaled dangerous amounts of the smoke have been taken to a clinic. And the witch who started the fires is already been taken in by the commander. I must speak with Julian then. I'm going to do a scope on the area with my men to make sure there are no accomplices. I'll see if I can repair some of the damage done to the stalls. Thank you both for your hard work. My heart is pounding in my chest as I incline my head. We should get back to the palace, right? A few of the wandering knights around the plaza accompany us back to the palace for extra protection. Shin and Garland are waiting at the gates when I arrive. Your Majesty, there's been an incident. I let Shin repeat what Fritz said as we walk together through the walls. She tells me the witch we added to the patrol helped the knights capture the arsonist. And where is the arsonist now? In the dungeons. We've tried to interrogate him, but have no luck so far. Here it is, an opportunity for me to get to the root of this problem. Lead me to it. I'll go with you. The four of us make our way down to the underground dungeons. We have our way to the and make our way to the designated prison cells. As of yet, there are not many cells that can hold witches. Walt and Laura personally enchanted some of them to suffocate any form of magic, but we have only been able to charm a few areas. Thankfully, the lack of cells is not a problem. Hopefully it stays that way. Tyrion and Garland stop in front of one of the cells. Here we are, Your Majesty. I squint between the wall of bars into the darkness. I see a man huddled in the corner, his back to us. Walt moves to stand in front of me, posture stiff. If you and I can, let me handle this, Walt. I peer into the bars. Your queen stands before you. Will you not acknowledge me? You are not my queen. The man glances over his shoulder. The only queen I acknowledged was Queen Hildur. You're nothing but a usurper. You will show Queen Diviana respect, or... It's all right, Tyrion. I turn back to the witch. We seem to have his full attention now. Will you tell me why you did what you did? What is you up to achieve? Will you not speak a word in your defense? The witch says nothing, just glares daggers at us. If you don't say anything... The witch laughs suddenly, a hollow, cold sound. I was wondering when you'd speak up, Walt Cresswell. You used to be so loud. When was it that you were timid? Walt narrows his eyes. Spouting nonsense isn't going to get you anywhere. Give us answers, or you'll doom yourself to life in this cell. The witch smirks. And what will you do to get those answers from me? Torture me with magic? Walt inhales sharply. He says nothing as he glares back at the witch. For a few moments, the two just look at each other. And then the witch smiles. Dismiss your knights and Cresswell. Then, and only then, I will speak with you, false queen. A shudder climbs my spine as the witch looks directly at me. He's a criminal, a witch, but I'm the Tenebrarum bearer. You are in no position to make such demands. No, it's alright, Tyrion. Viviana? I'll be fine. Please wait for me by the entrance. I'm not going to leave you alone in here with a criminal. I'm not asking, Walt. Looks at me stunned. I cannot show a weakness in front of this criminal. I cannot deter. I don't know. We'll wait for you, Your Majesty. But if we hear even the slightest disturbance, we'll be back. Thank you both. Walt is the last to leave. He looks at me uncertainly, almost pleadingly. But when I do not budge, he eventually turns on his heels and leaves. The witch turns to me after their footsteps have faded to silence. Are you sure you want to keep Cresswell around? He betrayed the previous bearer, you know? And all for the sake of a single girl? That single girl was me. The witch laughs. And? That means nothing. Loyalty and love are not mutually exclusive. Get to the point. You said you would speak to me. He smiles at me coldly. So I did, but I would much rather speak of the past than the present. That was not our agreement. The witch speaks as if it hasn't heard me. How much do you know about the man who follows you like a shadow? About Walt Cresswell? We are not here to speak about Walt. But don't you want to know what he did for your mother? Why we called him one of the most powerful witches of his time? It did terrible things, I know for sure. It did terrible things. You mistake my silence for curiosity because he pushes on. The man who walks these walls with you is a murderer, one of the biggest criminals of them all, and you let him walk free. My heart hammers in my chest.
I knew it.
How dare you spout such lies? It's no lie. Ask any of the witches, they'll tell you. Ross Cresswell was Queen Ilsa's right hand. He dealt with traitors by getting rid of them entirely. The witch you speak so highly of has more blood on his hands than anyone. Why have you not punished him? I know Walt's worked for Mother, but he never did tell me what it was he did for her, and apologize, I didn't mean to compare you to a child. No, it isn't that, Viviana, it's more the innocent part. I'm not innocent at all, you know. I respectfully disagree. And I'll never change my opinion of you, Walt. Yep, I knew it. It was that time. He always balks when I call him good or innocent. The witch snorts. Hero who ended the Great War? Hardly. Walt Cresswell is a worse criminal than me. To be fair, he has no right to judge, so let's just go to this is none of your business. I came here to speak with you about your crimes. So you'll turn a blind eye to a blood already spilled because you prefer ignorance? The longer I speak with this man, the more irritated I become. I pinch the bridge of my nose and let out a sigh. I'm done speaking about it. If Lady Hilda had still been queen, she wouldn't have turned away from all this. She was and will always be stronger than you, Offling. He has some nerve. It is all I can do to brush off his words. If you will not speak to me about the arson attack, we are done here. The witch turns away with a scoff. I stifle a sigh of relief and as I turn on my heels and walk away. Hi Wade, how are you? Since earlier. Betrayed. You're welcome. Children Garon are waiting for me by the entrance. Don't forget to rest and stretch as well, especially the rest part. Are you alright, Your Majesty? Garon looks me over. Were you able to get anything out of him? Unfortunately, no. The knights exchange a look. Do you want us to try again before he's brought to confess? I am doubtful he will say anything helpful. It is hard to concentrate with when I am still thinking about our conversation about Waltz. I glance up, noticing Waltz is not there. Where is Waltz? He said he was going to wait for you in your room. It isn't like Waltz to leave me alone. Would you like us to escort you back, Your Majesty? I shake my head. There is no need. But please, send by a report of the damage and casualties when it is available. Has there been any word about the state of the marketplace? We received a report while we were waiting while we were waiting for you. Many stalls and goods were lost in the fire. Then I must think of a way to compensate the merchant for the loss. Carlin coughs. If you don't mind a piece of advice, Your Majesty. What is it? We won't have a full report until tomorrow. I'd recommend you rest for the night, and we can discuss losses and compensations tomorrow. Not. I think that would be best. I will notify the advisors of my progress here, then return to my room for the night. I am eager to speak to Walt about all of this. Then let us escort you as far as the throne room, at least. We're on our way there anyway. Thank you both. I spend the next hour doing what I can to ensure support is sent into town. After receiving multiple reports that things are stable and no other accomplice has been found, I return to my room. Just as Julian Gallant said, Walt is waiting for me. He sits by the window, holding a familiar doll in his hands. So pretty. I recognize it as the doll he bought me 2 years ago. It looks up when I enter. Hello, little star. He smiled, his strange and undeniably sad. Wrecked my heart. Hello, Walt. I glanced at the doll. Feeling nostalgic? I was just thinking about how much you've always loved your dolls. He runs a finger over the doll's fragile porcelain cheek. I always felt oddly comforted when I looked at your dolls as a kid. Your room felt like a sanctuary to me back then. It still does. Moved to sit next to Walt's. It is not just my room anymore, you know? It's your room. It's our room. Right. Walt set the doll down on the table with a sigh. So, how did the interrogation go? He says the words slowly, tentatively. I was not able to extract a reason from him, but he nonetheless had a lot to say about something else. Walt just looks at me quietly, expectantly. He had a lot to say about you. Walt's expression shudders. Me? Walt, do you trust me? What kind of question is that? Of course I do. So, you would tell me the truth about anything? I knew it was only a matter of time until this came up in one of the interrogations. This witch, I called you a murderer, Walt. Did you truly have to do that for Mother? Sitting with his shoulders slouched, his gaze trained downward, Walt looks like a mere shadow of himself. The sight breaks my heart. I did. Walt, I'm sorry, little star. I did a lot of terrible things in my past. Things I can't take back. Things I would do anything to take back. Walt looks away. I know it seems like I've been keeping things from you, but I don't do it to keep secrets from you. I've never wanted to speak about the past. My whole life, I've been trying to make it up for the wrongs I committed. My parents' death, the humans I had to hurt for elder. I don't think there's anything I could ever do to make up for it. I slide closer to him and place my hand over his. The reason you were so adamant about me not accompanying you to these interrogations was because you feared the corrupted witch would say something in my presence, wasn't it? I mean, what I said about me not wanting you to overwork yourself. But yes, that was a part of it too. Walt, how long has this guilt been conning at you? My whole life. You know we are the Tenor Baron, right? And guilty is a negative emotion, right? You know that you are one of the source of our nightmares, right? It wasn't so bad. when I lived at the Martian. There I could sometimes forget about everything that happened, but here in the palace, interrogating the witches, it comes back. He looks at me, case somber. I'm sorry. For what? Waltz, I've told you 100 times that my mother is the one who forced you to do those things. It doesn't change the fact that people have been hurt because of me, that they've lost loved ones because of me. It's true, you cannot make up for the wrongs of the past. A right doesn't resolve a wrong. But Waltz, you saved this kingdom twice. You were under no orders then. No life can ever be weighed against any other, but you have saved so many people, Waltz. I let my fingers through his and gently squeezed his hand. You saved me. Walt's hold my hand tightens. Walt's hold on my hand tightens. It feels almost desperate, as if he's clinging to me. You saved me, Diviana. You put a smile on my face when it felt like the world was crashing down on me. Around you, I could be at peace. I could be myself. He shakes his head. I know it's no excuse, but that's why, all this time, I didn't want to divulge anything about my past. I always talk about facing the present together, about not lingering in the past. And yet, the moment I start to remember everything, I lose myself. I can no longer think about the present or the future. All I can think about is how much I feel like I don't deserve any of this happiness. You don't have to remember if it's too hard for you or else. I raise his hands to my lips and kiss his knuckles. But please, I do not want you to feel like you need to hide things from me, because you are scared of how I will react. Waltz swallows. For a few moments, it does not speak, just sits there holding my hand tightly, and then he speaks, his voice feather soft. How did I get so lucky to have you in my life, little star? Fate is cruel, but it brought us together, and for that, I am forever grateful. You already know I was your mother's right hand. Mate was her left. The two of us did everything she ordered. We dealt with rebels and helped her stop uprisings. Much of it led to bloodshed. I did all of that while still sneaking into your room at night. I was a criminal, but around you I felt like maybe I could be a hero. I remember when you first taught me how to sew. Your puppets put such a smile on my face, and when I used it to perform magic for you, you would clap for me. I'll smile softly. You inspired me. I did everything I could to make things right. Even when I lost you, even when you no longer remembered me, I carried your light with me. I performed for the children in town. I did magic tricks and also puppet shows for them. Felt like maybe I could finally do something good. But whenever you called me good, he sighs. I still feel like I'm not worth of being called that. Okay, just plain disagreeing is giving a reason. I feel it's better in this case because of everything he's giving us. You already know what my response is to that. I know. It meant the world to me that you thought that I was one of the good witches, even back when we were children. Even if I was lying to you. Also, I was a child. We were both children. I would never begrudge you keeping those things a secret from me to protect me. But now I'm older, wiser, and I know that it is my mother did and what you had to suffer at her hands. Please, never feel like you must keep me in the dark, understood? Walt smiled softly, still with uncertainty in his eyes. Crystal clear, little star. The words are still so fragile. I stand abruptly before Walt can move. I reach over and pull him to my chest. Aww. When next you feel like this, please come to me. You have seen me at my lowest, and time again, you have been there for me. I want to be there for you, always. I run my hands gently through his hair. You promised you would always be at my side. I echo your promise long ago. Please, depend on me. Walter kneels shakily. For a few moments there is quiet, stillness, and then his arms circle my waist. He leans into me and whispers softly, "Thank you, Diviana." I pull away from him, just far enough to look him in the eyes. Feel better? I do. He laughs, a little sheepishly. I'm sorry you had to interrogate me in the end. I nodded him gently in the shoulder. You're excused this time, but only if you agree to be honest with me in the future. Yes, ma'am. You have to promise me. Walt flexes his fingers. He closes his palm, then opens it before my eyes. A lily pushes up between his fingers. He hands it to me. I promise, Iviana. I take the flower from him and twirl it between my fingers. Why the lily? Shreya told me once that they stand for devotion, and a promise isn't a promise without devotion. When I lean forward to kiss his cheek, Oz playfully pulls away. I tumble onto his lap with a laugh, and he pulls me close, tilting my face up so that he can plant a kiss on my lips. Thank you for the care package, Naomi. And that, Pets, I hope you're preparing for your stream. Afterward, I reached out and took up his cheek. I promised to, Walt. In my periphery vision, I see something glimmer across the sky. I do not know if it is a shooting star, but I still make another wish. Oh my god, no me. Oh god. I wish for Walt's happiness. I hope he can learn to let me carry his burdens just as he carries mine. Wrapped in starlight, Walt and I share another kiss. Oh. And that's it for today. Neverland. Oh. Wait, his curse was a Neverland curse. No, don't do that to me. Okay, let's end here. Yes. Okay. Who do we raid? Who are we raiding? Is Mara on? She had a stream for today. I think it was Coffee Talk. Mara is on. Let's raid Mara. Let's raid our sister. Wait, why did you redeem? Okay. No, me, I need to go to the bathroom and you are doing this to me. Yeah. So the red message is Eric. So here's the red message for Lisa. For who isn't sub, the red message will be this one. Meta. Kira. Eh? Wrong caps. Yeah. Thank you so much to everyone joining me today. I really appreciate it. I'll be back on Sunday. I may be pushing my stream from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m., but I'm not sure yet. GMT plus one. I may be pushing my stream. I'm not sure yet. Depends on how things go for me tomorrow. So yeah, thank you so much for everyone joining me today. I really appreciate it. And we don't talk about me fangirling. And see you all on Sunday. Bye bye.